What is up? Metal Gets Me High, episode 15. We have a special guest. We have Lamb, guitarist of Maul, badass band. Love your guys' new album, Seraphic Punishment, out of Redefining Darkness Records. Uh, got me, Al, got Lamb here, our co host, Brad and Ramon. How you doing
What
tonight,
is up?
Lamb?
Yo, doing great, man. Chilling.
Cool deal. Well, let's get into it, Lamb. How would you say like metal gets you high? Like, mean kind of what does metal mean to you?
Oh man, where do I begin? I mean, I was kind of telling you guys earlier, but I mean, I started listening to metal at a very young age, and back when I started listening to metal, it was much more taboo, I would say, than it is today. You know what I mean? And like,
Okay,
it's something I've always just gravitated towards and loved, just because metal helps me kind of release, my frustration, my anxiety, like it's one of my ways of like my outlets for my emotion. And like I've always, yeah, I don't know, I love metal, dude. Like Garrett
I'm
is a
with you.
huge metal lover too. Like that's kind of how we became friends. We just started talking about metal. Like actually so Garrett and I really were in a backyard wrestling federation together once.
Oh, damn.
And
Okay,
Hell yeah.
my intro song was like Kill Switch.
like CM Punk, huh?
Hell
he was
yeah.
like, all right, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, like Kill Switch, As I Lay Dying. Like those were my two. And it was 94 hours, just like the guitar part of like a minute and a half in. I don't know. That was like my entrance music. I thought it was so sick.
Dude, that's
That's
badass,
actually
'cause-
perfect right there.
Yeah,
What was your
I do-
finisher move?
It was
Good
kind of
question.
like a rip off. Okay, so my gimmick was dumb.
No,
My
I
first
love
match,
this
actually,
shit.
my first match, I was the champ because like the first time we ever did it, just like messing around, I was like, all right, I'll be the champ because like I'll be a heel, I'll lose the belt and it'll be whatever. So like my gimmick was I would hold up the belt and then look at it and I would be like, I'm the reflection of perfection. Like I was just cocky and like full of myself. That was it. I was the reflection of
Perfect.
perfection. I would like look at my
Yes.
hand and that's it. Like the hand was the mirror and then like that was it. And then Garrett, he was always Deicide. And even when he like started wrestling professionally, like he still went by Deicide. There was a couple times I think he changed his name for like the sake of like a gimmick. Like there was one time he was like a Canadian.
A boot.
It's like fair, dude. Garrett like straight up got these like trumpers going, man. Like, ooh.
That's so great.
It was nuts.
He's a Canadian heel that's just getting all
Yeah.
the trumpers riled up.
And he's not Canadian, he's like
I'm a boot to fuck him up. Or
he
however
did
the
this
fuck they
thing though
talk.
when he was like leaving the ring.
That sounded Irish.
He started
I know,
doing like
that's
a salute. He did like a salute to the crowd and then flicked them off, and they just were throwing drinks in their ring, bro. I was like, yo, you need to calm down, Garrett. Like, we're gonna get shot. Like,
That reminds me of- I watched the show Eastbound and Down. Same thing as they get on the field. He's just like, fuck you, as they're throwing drinks on him. Oh, shit. That's so funny.
Well, Lamb.
How did you guys
it's-
become a band?
Yeah, that's a good one.
so Garrett and I were in a band before Maul that was basically like a Molotov Solution Chelsea Grin ripoff, and
Nice.
I moved. I used to live in Bemidji, Minnesota. I moved to Fargo, and a guy we went to high school with, Robbie Anderson, who's like a little bit younger than us, borrowed a drum set from a friend of ours. And Robbie kind of like hit me up like, hey, man, I just got this drum set. I don't know what I'm doing. Would you want to come jam? And I actually went to school for music to like become a teacher. And I never graduated, but I mean, I did it for like, I went.
You went though.
I know some shits, not like a lot of shits, but
You still
So
you
I
can-
kinda
you know
went
your way
there.
around it.
and we kind of really like hammered out some early Maul riffs, actually, like very beginning, like just literally those first two riffs on the Midwest Death demo. Like our very first thing we put out was this 3-song demo called the Midwest Death. demo or whatever, and it was like those riffs are really what we hammered out in that bedroom between like Robbie and I. And it was funny because like Garrett and I looked at each other. Garrett was over, of course, to like watch us. And Garrett and I looked at each other and we were like, "We're gonna fucking start a band or what?" You know what I mean? And
no, this sounds pretty good.
I was like, "Dude, we just need to find a bassist first. You know what I mean? Find another guitarist. We'll make this happen." And like, we kind of went through a couple people at bass early until we found like our first bassist. And we've went through like a lot of guitarists, not like a lot. We used to have a guy named Jordan Severson who was in the band. He was the tall ginger guy. Kind of looks like he's from. A lot of people think he's the guy from Code Orange.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's funny.
So funny when we're at shows and people will be like, "Are you the guy?"
Joe. His name is Joe, I think.
Yeah.
Joe Goldman,
Joe Goldman.
something like that.
Which Jordan actually used to play in a band called Omari for like 2 days. That was like an old band from Minnesota. They were like Christian hardcore, basically. Back before it was like 100 of them. But Jordan is like a big. He actually wrote like Infatuation and Monarchy for the most part. Like a lot of those riffs were just like him hammering out riffs at home and kind of brought it to the pracky space. And we normally, even when we do like write full songs, sometimes we'll still kind of like maybe bust down a riff, change a little of this, that, to kind of polish it and make it more of a complete song. Now we kind of really just like, now that we have 3 guitarists, we just record riffs when they come to us. We listen to it, we all listen to them, we all kind of talk them through, put them, the ones that sound good together. Like, I don't know.
That sounds cool. Like
Yeah, it's a lot more
Piecing the puzzle
now.
together.
So
What are some bands that influence you as an individual, and then the band in general? Because I heard you say Garrett went by Deicide, so obviously I'm going to assume they're a pretty big influence.
yeah, a little bit. I mean, he was big. Cannibal Corpse, 6 Feet Under. We actually used to listen to 6 Feet Under a lot together.
They have one of my favorite covers of all time.
Oh yeah, TNT.
TNT.
That's a fun one.
They cover TNT.
That's a
It's one of
fun
my
one.
favorite covers.
That is a great cover, actually.
But I mean, personally, for me, man, like, I mean, for Maul stuff, I would say probably like Creator. I learned a lot. Like, one of the first things I ever learned was like a Jeff Loomis DVD that I got in a magazine. So like, what band he was in? Like Nevermore, I want to say.
Nevermore. That's
Yeah. So like, that's kind of where I get that from a little bit sometimes. But I mean, I love catching local bands, or like when we tour, like I love the good bands I see sometimes, and like sometimes those bands influence. Like I Am from Texas is like,
Oh yeah, they're hard as fuck.
badass.
every fucking song bangs. Like I love it.
Yeah.
Dude, I love how
like,
how Texas Death is my favorite song of theirs, and it's so simple, and there's only 2 words. It's just
for like the album that like Oracular though, it's way more like Sanguisugabog meets Sarcophagus. Like
okay.
There's more of that like old school death metal, but then like just dirty, stompy D beat shit. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, I'm gonna write just a chuggy riff with a shit ton of pitch harmonics. Like, fucking dude. That's that death clock stuff. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain it.
With Maul, do you guys all kind of pitch in ideas for different riffs and lyrics and you know, drum tempos? I'm sorry, I'm not very well versed in
I mean,
the instruments, but
I know
or is it kind of everybody sticks to their own kind of
sometimes
thing and puts it in?
Sometimes songs just come together, honestly.
Okay.
Almost like
Just jamming?
pulled it out of the ether. Yeah, dude. Like, I mean, you know, you'll kind of, like I said, we'll like put riffs in a bank, like individually, the guitarists, and, you know, we'll kind of jam them out a lot of times at practice, and Robbie will kind of just feel it out on drums. There is times though I will like record a whole song, kind of shoot it to the guys and be like, hey, is there anything in this, you know, you guys like, you don't like? because that'll happen. Like for example, Reclamation, that whole song, man, like the first half is kind of me and the second half is Al. But the way it was recorded, like I wrote the riffs, but I actually wasn't there for that recording day. I had to work, and Al actually recorded that whole thing himself, like drums, or not drums, but like guitar and bass, I'm pretty sure. And like, yeah, he put in work that day, bro. And
hell yeah,
he kind of changed the riffs a little bit, but it's like, that's what happens. You know what I mean? And it's like that song we kind of had thrown together kind of quickly, actually, because of the way that opportunity was presented to us to get on that thing. So we kind of, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Gotta take what's given to you.
But I love Al's like style. So like the way he like changed the riff, it works. You know what I mean? And it sounds like Maul. Like Maul is kind of all of us together, really. I don't know. I've always imagined Maul to just be like tenacious, and like Nails is definitely like a inspiration. Like I love tenacious metal.
One of my favorite bands right there.
Vitriol, I've been listening to. That's insane. I don't know if you've ever listened to them. That's Vitriol and like Mutilatred were big like influences.
Mutilatred's crazy hard.
They had a great album come out this year. They were actually
Determined to Rock.
Yeah.
But I also listen to like Bent Life.
Bent Life, they're good.
Okay.
I don't know. That's kind of why we like sometimes we'll just like switch gears and turn into a punk or a hardcore band, and I love that, dude.
Yeah.
I think we don't really like put a limit on what we're gonna do. You know what
I think that's what's cool about the scene too, is that there's a lot of mingling between hardcore and metal, and it's making for better hardcore and better metal.
Yeah.
A question I have is, what's it like? Like you just put out an album. What's it like watching people react to it? And then not only that, like in a live setting, what's it like seeing people react to your art?
Man, I'll tell you what, this last like tour we did, it's like I finally got to see it in reality. You know what I mean? I mean, you kind of put stuff out and then you'll play a show like a month later and then people will talk about it to you. But like doing the tour, like right after we released the album, like so many people, not even just like people reviewing the album, but just people coming up to us and talking to us and telling us, things they liked about it or songs, riffs. Like, I love that. This album's definitely special in that way. I mean, that happens, you'll have like other guitarists from other bands be like, bro, I love the riff from this track. But like, I don't know, this album definitely is like connecting with people, I feel like, and that's pretty cool.
That is cool.
Oh no, 100%.
And I think it's a freaking killer release, like I told you earlier. Everything about it, the art, I think the art matches the vibe of the album.
Yeah,
it's a really fun listen, and that's what's cool about death metal right now, is it's fun. You could hear it in the music that it's fun. And you guys are from a smaller area, but you guys got Phobophilic out there too, so it seems like you guys almost got a scene, and that's an album I'm chomping at the bit to hear for sure.
Phobo is the boys. It's funny, their practice space is actually my old office.
Oh, okay.
It's so random, and now it's like just death metaled out. It's great.
I love how you guys have a twist to the death metal though. Oh, there's a lot of really good death metal coming out.
Yeah.
And they're like the Seraphic Punishment album. There, you guys add like a twist. I don't know if it's a Midwest twist. I don't know what it is, but yeah, there's definitely like a twist that you guys added to this death metal that really popped for me. So I don't know what it is. Like I said, I can't put my finger on it, but it sounds fantastic.
It's fucking heavy. That's all that matters.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't know. We're a live band. Like, I feel like you kind of have to see it sometimes to feel it. You know what I mean? But
that's how this album
really is bringing it across. Like, it's funny because like when that label originally gave us like a list of we had like a list of producers do like a test mix on Forced Cremation.
Okay.
And I remember listening to like 12 different versions of that song, you know what I mean? And I would listen to a couple and then take a break, you know what I mean? But like the guy Adrian who did I want to say his name was Adrian. He has one name. It was like the one name. Like everyone had two names, he had one name. I'm like, this is the guy. It was like Hispanic. I can't remember. I'm pretty sure it was Adrian, but anyways, Yeah, and he killed it, dude. I loved it. Just
Yeah.
looking at that list, I'm like, this is the guy right here.
And like, how have your shows been since COVID has been over? Like, has it been really fun? Lots of people there.
Oh yeah, people are definitely starting to show back out, which is nice.
That's
I mean,
good, man.
you know, there's
Glad to
still
hear that.
masks, which is cool. Like, if you want to wear a mask, wear a mask. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whatever. But I don't know. It's nice that music is back. Like, there's a lot of shows happening in Fargo. Fargo actually does have like a pretty poppin' music scene across a lot of different genres. So there's always like a show going on, like almost every day of the week, honestly. Or karaoke at a bar if you want to do that. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. What are some up and coming bands like in the metal scene that you would talk about? Like that's coming up in the Fargo area.
Well, speaking of Phobo for a second, I got a funny,
Phobo.
he kind of reminded me of a story real quick. So Vinny, the drummer, first time I met Vinny was at like a house party, right? We're just chilling. Vinny's like, I don't know, probably 6 years younger than I am, I'm guessing. He was kind of intoxicated, and I was like fucking with him. He was wearing a Death shirt, and I was like, damn, Death, that sounds like a pretty cool band. And he was like, yeah. And I was like, I've never heard of them. And he like just fucking with him, you know what I mean? And he was just like, he lost his mind, bro. He was like, Lamb, you're in a death metal band. You've never heard of Death. What the? It's just like, and I just kept going for a second. And Garrett was like, bro, stop, bro. And he's going to fight you straight up.
This guy's going to fucking slam you right now.
Like being in a thrash band and never hearing about Slayer.
Yeah, like, oh, man.
Well, that totally
That's
makes
hella
sense.
But
And,
I mean,
and
that's Phobo is very like I feel like they are very influenced by Death, you know what I mean? Whereas we
Yeah.
are more Slayer, honestly. Like,
That's a great
I mean,
way to put
who's
it.
not
Yeah,
influenced
you
by
guys are.
Slayer these days?
I don't really listen to a lot of Slayer, but I mean, Rain and Blood slaps, like, straight up.
You know what? And
Yeah.
even the album art kind of
Yeah,
reflects some Slayer. Like it's got a Slayer-esque look to it. What's the one I'm thinking of? Either
I think you're
with the
thinking
mask
of
on it, with the mask, or is it? I don't know. I'm sorry, I can't think of. I have a terrible memory, but yeah, it's very Slayer-esque.
Here's a random question too. How, like, because most metal, it's like pretty black and white. How'd you come up with that like violet color?
You mean for like the album and stuff? Or
Yeah, for the
Yeah.
album. Sorry.
I mean, kind of like when we do releases, we like them to look. We kind of, I don't know, we'll be like, all right, this one's gonna be piss yellow, huh? For like Monarchy of Mold, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we did one that was like neon green once upon a time. We did like, and we kind of just got to that point where we were like, yo, what if we did the bi-colors, like purple and blue and like that kind of pastel blue or whatever. That's kind of where it came from, actually.
Oh, that's so.
It
Yeah.
was time for purple, and purple's my favorite color. So, I mean, we kind of saved purple for the album.
Okay.
Very nice.
Well,
Not
it
because
was
it's my favorite color, but just like that, we all, Vikings, bro. We knew purple was going to be the color straight up. Like day one, I don't know, it's
Story behind
weird
it.
shit like that, dude. Like straight up.
No, that
And you
makes
said it was
sense.
originally painted, right? The album
Yeah.
art.
Yeah,
That's pretty impressive.
It's beautiful. Like I want it, dude.
Well, hell yeah. I mean,
Garrett sent me a
part of
picture
your
of
art.
it when it was done, like on the canvas, and I was like, "That's awesome."
Yeah, you got to have that framed in your house somewhere. A nice like at least 4x4 or something.
I mean, I got my original press vinyl, so I don't actually own a record player. I need to get a record player. I listen to tapes a lot, actually. I have a pretty big tape collection, but just never got around to listening to vinyl, bro. But like, I own like all the vinyl I have are Maul vinyls, which we have 2 now, and I'm like, damn, now I got to get a record player.
Oh yeah,
I gotta check
you're
it out
slacking.
on there.
Yeah, it's like I don't know.
I've just delved into the vinyl thing, and it's a whole thing. Like honestly, I wish I had more time to listen to it. It is a lot easier to just pop it in the ear and go on Bandcamp or Spotify, but it really is like it feels better when you listen to it because you take it out the packaging. It's like It definitely feels more like art than something that's maybe going
Set the
on in the
needle on the
background.
vinyl.
Yeah,
You know
the whole
what?
experience, man.
You know what?
We
I feel.
we definitely
Go ahead.
signed a lot of vinyls actually on tour, which is kind of funny. And every time I sign a vinyl, I'm like, man, one day this might be on Pawn Stars. You never know, man. You never know.
I hope so,
Rick,
man.
Rick will fucking negotiate your ass down to the
Yep.
bottom dollar.
He'll
Too.
be like, all right, I'll get best I can do is $40. It's got
You know
Garrett's
what?
signature. Like,
It's got the whole band. I think it's cool though that a lot of bands are starting to do tapes. That you say you're big into them.
Yeah.
A lot of bands are starting to revert toward the tapes because it's just a lot easier to produce, from what I've heard.
it is. I mean, it's an
Yeah.
easy DIY if you want to get into it. Garrett actually makes tapes with a label called See You Never Records, which is just him and like a couple buddies that make tapes for bands basically that are looking to get like small batches. So
Okay.
sometimes like Reclamation, we did like a run of tapes that was just like forced in Reclamation.
Oh, damn.
So like sometimes we'll kind of do that audible and make like a batch of tapes before we do a run, and it's like a special tape basically that
More
you can only
exclusive.
get on those shows. Like, but a lot of times they're like black and white. Like the Reclamation one was black and white, I remember. But
Okay. Do you guys have any plans for releasing like a purple like tape or something, like a special release for the Seraphic Punishment?
I think there was a purple tape, but I think it was like a
Okay.
bright purple.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
It wasn't like a
Okay.
deep purple.
Yeah.
Which I know. I think we only have like 2 types left. We made 3 different types actually. There was a blue and purple, like a purple on one side, blue, and they were kind of pastel. And then there was like a cotton candy pink, I want to say, and
Okay.
I don't remember what the other one was, to be honest.
You guys had a killer lineup on
Yeah, we do
your last show
Be having
too.
a lot of merch sometimes.
Hey, that's good. That's our favorite
Hey,
part of
we're-
That's how you
going to
make money
shows.
on
Yeah.
the road. To be honest,
Hey,
man, you gotta
man,
be able
we'll
to sell
spend-
merch.
We'll spend an hour in a merch line. We don't care. We'll do it 3 times. We just
Yeah.
we love getting our merch.
We got the hot sauce now too, and that's like everyone's crazy about the hot sauce.
I am a huge heat enthusiast.
Connoisseur
Yeah.
of hot sauce.
Yeah, I'm a connoisseur of heat. Is it a good one?
I would say it's like, I mean,
I don't gotta. It doesn't have to be high. It has to be good.
I would
I
say
like
it's maybe
hot,
like
but I
a
like-
5.
Stop!
6
You like
out
to
of
burn
10.
your fucking asshole.
I mean, for people that don't eat hot sauces, I wouldn't recommend it. You know what I mean? Like, but
Oh, okay.
it's not crazy. It's not going to burn your tongue off by any means. It's just got a lot of flavors going on. It kind of hits you with
You know
that
the Scoville
zazza
rating?
real quick. What's that?
Do you know the Scoville rating on it?
I don't know off the top of my head.
I'm gonna get me a bottle
Yeah.
as soon as I can because
Yo.
I love me some hot sauce. I gotta say.
That's creative too. I don't think there's very many bands with hot sauce. So
Yeah,
props to you guys. That's
The
freaking
homie just
badass.
kind of hit us up and was like, "Yo, you want? I can make you a hot sauce." And we are like, "Let's do it!" Like, of course.
That's
No,
smart.
What do you want? Like,
Oh shit, that's great.
And you want like to speak on that tour you did? That was a pretty kick-ass tour. I saw you guys did a lot of shows with Sentient Horror. We've had the chance to talk to Matt, super cool guy, freaking killer band, and Tombstoner. That's a band that I actually just recently got into, and Mike, that's a pretty meaty lineup going around right there.
Tombstoner boys were so cool. Like instant homies when we met them, and I don't even know how to explain it, man. They're so New York. They're from Staten Island, and like,
Oh yeah, it don't
they
get much
got
more
that
New York than
accent.
Staten
oh
Island.
man, like
That's
we all
badass.
picked up the New York accent when we were in New York, and they would call me Tony. You know what I mean? It was fun.
Hey, Tony.
Yeah. Talking about
People from
Sopranos
Staten
all the
Island
time.
are proud.
It was funny though, because like I don't know if you've ever seen that. You ever watch that dude on YouTube who's got like videos where he's like, Slipknot went to a high school with turf. That's rich guy crap. You ever seen that? You know what I'm talking about?
I can't say
I
that I
haven't
have.
had to, but I need to check it out ASAP.
It's some dude who like he's like pretending to just be like a good old boy basically, and he like complains about different stuff or stuff you'll hear on the radio. He's like, it's not my fault when Black Hole Sun comes on the radio. We're now going to listen to Black Hole Sun because it's a perfect song.
That it is, man. That's one of my favorite. To this day, there's a show that I'm never going to forgive myself for not going to. And that was Death Grips was the opening artist. Dillinger Escape Plan, 9 Inch Nails, Soundgarden.
Whoa.
Never going to be able to see Dillinger Escape Plan.
Yeah.
Death Grips hasn't done anything since that tour.
Seeing Dillinger would be cool on its own.
Oh yeah.
And then on top of that, 9 Inch Nails and Chris Cornell, before he passed. That's the one where I'm like, what was I thinking?
You weren't. That's the problem.
No, you're exactly right.
You know
So-
what? Hey, go ahead.
You go ahead.
I was gonna say, speaking of you touring, I know you said you went on, you did a little tour. I don't know if it was just Florida, but we touched on it a little bit earlier before the podcast with Warflurch. Now you guys had a split where it was Warflurch, Thorn, and Maul. And my question was, how did that come? How did that like come together? I know we talked a little bit about your guys' song earlier, but we didn't touch on how it came together and who hit up who. Are you guys from the same area?
Not really. I'm pretty sure that one was actually kind of Flurch's idea. I want to say I might be wrong on this because Garrett kind of takes the helm on that split specifically. But I want to say, it was the Flurch boys kind of hit us up and kind of pitched this idea to us. And we were like, they originally asked us for 2 songs. And we ended up just doing writing a super long song just cause we just were like, yo, what if we just wrote a long ass song and sent it to them? And we told them before we sent it, we're like, hey, can we just do a 12 or 14 minute song? And they were like, heck yeah, dude. We'll just, and we kind of got to work on it. But I'm pretty sure Redefining helped out with that as well. With the tapes, I want to say there was a special case that came in that actually looked almost like a DVD case. But there's also a regular case, I want to say. But
nice.
Anyways,
Okay, that's dope. Yeah, I was wondering. I was like, how did this come together? Because you're, they have 2 songs, or it goes Thorn, Lurch, and then you guys have this, song that's 13 minutes long or whatever it is, and it's a roller coaster of a song. It takes you through everything, like you were saying, it's kind of hardcore-y, but then really little sludgy in some parts, super death metal and some. It was a perfect touch. It was. It didn't feel like droning out. All right, that's for being
it's
that.
Funny because the first riff of that song, I actually didn't want to be in there. I wanted to save that for a different song, and
oh, okay.
Because I love that riff. Actually, I had been sitting on that one for a while. And they were like, hey, play that riff, and we'll use that. And I was like, I kind of want to make a song out of that riff. You know what I mean? I feel like that riff could have been its own song, but not just that riff, but it could have definitely spawned a whole different song. But
yeah,
that song really did come together with
It's
just a bunch of riffs. Al and I just throwing riffs back and forth at each other. And I mean, I kind of wrote the first half and he wrote majority of the second half. And then what happens a lot is we'll write riffs sometimes. And then I'll be like, all right, bro, throw some ambient stuff over this, make it sound creepy, and we always talk about getting evil, we got to sound evil, we got to sound creepy, and then Al just kind of wings it. Makes the magic happen.
Pretty damn good at winging it.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, you guys nailed it on that one.
Well, I've noticed too, you guys haven't been around, as far as releasing music for a long time, but you guys have a lot of stuff you've released as far as singles and whatnot. So you guys are really prolific. How does that all come to you guys? Do things kind of come to you, or do you sit down and actually write, or do you do a little bit of both?
So I mean, a lot of the very first release we did, the Midwest Death demo, was with pretty sure that was with the Phobo boys, Christian the bassist, helped us with that, and he actually helped us with the Soaked in Penance, Solicit the Torture EP we did that was just like 2 songs. Which like I loved recording with him, honestly. It was like the first time we were in like a random office space that like was shared by a bunch of bands. It was kind of like similar to our practice space, but on like the other side of town. And I don't know, I wouldn't say ours was cleaner, but ours just had more banners, I guess. Theirs had a lot of gig posters, it seemed very punk.
Okay.
But like a lot of those early EPs we did were very DIY. Like we kind of recorded through homies. A lot of art was through homies. Like we pay everyone, but like it was just definitely more tighter family. Now it's more like, we kind of, the releases now are kind of more coming from like labels asking us if we'd be interested in doing an album or an EP or something or a single. And I mean, it's nice because we are with Redefining, but like we still have the ability to do other stuff if we want.
Okay. That's pretty cool.
Which is really cool. Like we actually, we have stuff planned, of course. Every time we drop an EP, trust me, we're ready. We're already talking about the next one. Like, which is so fun,
Always on top of it.
And we do have bands that hit us up a lot that'll be like, hey man, let's do a split. And sometimes if it's a band that we really like, whether they're from Texas, California, New York, it doesn't matter. Like, we're like, hell yeah, dude. Like,
let's get the shit going.
Yeah, we don't take everything that's thrown at us for sure, but if
it makes sense. Right?
Now it's definitely like, people hit us up. Early on, though, it was much more, DIY, straight up.
Oh, that's cool, man.
Well,
I think that's.
Go ahead. I
think that's what's cool about like the scene right now too. It seems like all of you guys are DIY, and that like I said, it's fun. The music's killer right now.
We're still DIY on a certain level. Like I was telling you, Garrett makes tapes, so sometimes we will do like little special tapes for certain little runs, like whether it's a 3 or 4 day tour, like around, like Milwaukee, Illinois, Minneapolis, back up to Fargo. Like we'll kind of do these little loops around certain states, just to kind of stay around. You know what I mean? Like, hey, remember we exist, please.
Come buy a shirt, listen to the album.
We do be playing a lot of gigs, man. Like that's one thing, I don't know. And that's part of having 3 guitarists. Like having Jake in the band is really adding him. He's officially a member now. I don't know if we've like made a public announcement about it, but like Jake plays in some incredible bands. Like Agony Reigns is very thrash, if you like thrash, or he plays in a math rock band too.
Oh, damn.
He plays in a lot of
cool
band. Jake's amazing.
Nice technical.
But it's nice because like, we can call an audible if like someone has to work, different guitarists can fill in and whatnot. I actually we actually did a DVD like documentary with our buddy Kevin, who did he did the Monarchy of Mold music video. He works with Chamber 6 Media here in Fargo, and he like went with the boys for like a 3-day run, and that was like right when Jake first started. Like that was like Jake's first run, like with the band, playing more than 2 gigs in a row. And like it's funny because like the first DVD, I'm like in it for a split second because I had to work that week, so I missed out on the cool DVD spot.
Damn, that sucks.
I was like, what you need to do right at the end, bro, is just put like a little in memory of Lamb and be like, he's not dead, he just had to work. That's kind of what we always joke about. Like one of the boys, there are shows like the last show we played in Grand Forks, North Dakota, we actually played as a 6-piece. We do it every once in a while when all the boys can get together, and it's like, it's fucking sick, honestly. We do a bunch of improv solos, dive bombs, and it's just, we get rowdy, bro. We actually blew out the power in the venue for a second. We had to go trip the breaker. Yeah, it was sick. Like sometimes that's how it be.
That's cool, man. I think not a lot of bands have 3 guitars. It's either 1 or 2, and I think that's freaking badass. Whitechapel, I know they're one of the few bands that they have 3 guitars, and the times we've seen them, they sound really good, and it definitely sounds very beefy with 3 guitars. It gives you an extra depth, I would say. So I think that's cool. You guys got three guys that could be there.
Yeah, especially live. I'm sure that you could feel the 3 guitars going at once. It's just fucking right in your face, loud amps in your face. What more could you ask for?
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that sucks about it is like we are. I mean, I don't know. I would consider myself medium plus. I'm a large, and then we got some XXLs. Let's just say that Garrett and Griggs are big boys. You know what I mean? So like, it gets crowded up on the stage sometimes, man. Especially if it's like a little place.
That makes sense.
We like to move, but I mean, sometimes you're just in your spot.
And I've noticed
concrete feet, baby, concrete feet.
I've noticed too, you guys like something that's cool too. I think you guys have a good front man in Garrett. I've seen some of the live videos on like YouTube, and like he definitely has presence, and I think that's very important in death metal. A lot of the best death metal bands, they have guys who are noticeable, and he's noticeable with the, like you say, he's a big dude and the mustache. He's killing it.
It's funny because like literally like one of the first time Garrett and I hung out, we were in high school, and I was like one of 2 or 3 guys in the whole school that like played guitar, and I was self-taught, like I wasn't in band or anything. And Garrett just kind of came up to me one day in the commons of our school and was like, "Hey, you want to start a band?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then we like started hanging out, right? Drinking beers when we were like 50. You know what I mean? Like talking metal, and that's kind of where it started, to be honest. Like just kind of messing around. Our first band Garrett and I ever started was called Sic Semper Tyrannis.
Sic Semper Tyrannis. Wow, that's
like
a mouthful.
I like the name.
Which means death to tyrants. It was like what John
SST.
Wilkes Booth said when he shot
Abe Lincoln.
Dude, that's crazy.
hard,
I didn't
actually.
even know that.
So like
That's
we
creative.
actually got it from a Whitest Kids You Know episode.
Dude,
I don't know
I
if you
haven't
ever
thought
watched
about that show in so long. That was Fuse TV, right? Oh,
Yeah, dude. He said there was
forgot
like a
about
skit
that.
where he's like talking about bombing the White House or something, and he's like, you can't say that. This is just a PSA that you can't say that. But if you want to meet, we're under the Golden Gate Bridge. Password is 6 That was our band name, 6 We didn't play. We like. I think we played like a show in a garage for some friends. We didn't really like play any shows as that band though.
Was it
You
death
gotta start
metal?
somewhere.
I would say it was much more like just straight up like metal, like Lamb of God type
Okay.
fast
American metal.
I guess. Yeah, exactly. I listened back then. I was going through a big Lamb of God, Kill Switch, and like Black Label Society. I was like a big Zack Wild fan when I was a kid for a little bit.
It's such a great band.
He kills it.
Really-
He's a good
He
He knows
guitarist.
how to play the fucking guitar.
But I mean, when I was a kid, I thought Zack Wild was a fucking god. You know what I mean? I thought he was.
I mean,
I wanted to be.
He looks like a
player.
god on stage.
I would see these giant guitar players and be like, "That's what I want to do, man!" Like,
you know what? We had a chance to watch Zack Wild play with Ozzy.
Yeah.
And Zack Wild came into the crowd because we were sitting in general admission in the pit. He basically walked out and just started playing around the crowd, upside
his
down,
head.
behind his head,
yeah, dude.
just
With
like
his
with
teeth.
his teeth. It was insane, the performance he put on.
That's what I'm talking about, though. I mean, I like seeing a Kill Switch. I saw Kill Switch live, and like Adam D would do that, where he would like run around or whatever.
Dude, he's a maniac on stage.
I used to do that in me Garrett's old band with my wireless. I would like run to the opposite side of the crowd and just like play next to someone until they noticed me for a second. Then I'd run back on stage. I thought that shit was hilarious.
That is hilarious.
Oh, hey, you know what? You guys touched on I know we touched on earlier before we were recording about you and Garrett doing a little bit of wrestling beforehand.
Yeah.
Do you guys still dabble in it? Like, are you guys still in it? I know that.
I mean,
that's such an awesome
Garrett,
story.
Garrett is technically retired now.
Okay.
Okay.
Technically. He can still
are
be
you-
got.
I like it.
Bro.
I like it.
One phone
I like
call
it.
away.
Live.
Hey, you
You know-
can't break kayfabe. You
Yeah,
can't break kayfabe.
But I mean, yeah, his last death match he did was actually here in Fargo at the Aquarium, which is like normally just a music venue. It's just kind of like a standard, big black room with a stage that's about 3 foot off the ground, and like they weren't on the stage. They actually did it all on the floor. And that match was insane. He was like covered in blood. They had like car windows, like bus windows that they went through.
Oh my
It
god.
was nuts. It was insane.
Do
I
you
was
know?
like, he actually got a piece of glass stuck in his hand for like, he just like last week got it out. Like he had to get it
no.
surgically removed because it was like stuck on a tendon under his thumb, and it was like fucking his thumb up really bad actually. And he played all tour with that glass in there, bro. Like straight up, that's insane.
What a
That's
savage.
insane.
I know.
Yeah.
Do you
That's
know-
the life, bro. He asked for it.
Do you know what promotion it's with through? Because I'm familiar with very, very. I mean, I'm not into wrestling anymore. I used to love it, but the only like smaller promotion I could think of, and it's out of the East Coast, is Catalyst Wrestling.
Mhm.
That's the only promotion. Do you know what promotion it's out of? Because
He's worked.
those death matches are nuts.
Yeah. He's worked with actually like I want to say probably about 5 or 6 different companies like through his
Okay.
Oh
career.
wow.
Most recently Time Bomb Pro, which is run by our friend Eric, who used to be in like a hardcore band. Eric's like a local legend type. He and yeah, he kind of started Time Bomb like just on a whim, kind of just as like a for funsies, and then it became like now he's been doing it now for years and it keeps getting bigger and bigger. It's pretty cool actually.
That's cool.
But there was one Garrett worked for out of Cass Lake, Minnesota, and I want to say it was called CES. I can't remember what the actual name was, but it was a ring in like a gym, you know what I mean? And the shows would draw like probably like I don't know 75 to 100 people, and it's funny because they would get like like just random old WCW or like just B wrestlers, but they're still like just jacked old dudes. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. You're
like the guy who
holy
ran
shit,
it
you're
actually,
massive.
he was in the WCW as Widowmaker was his gimmick, and
Okay.
like, and yeah, he was like 350 pounds wrestling, with Garrett. But there was a guy Garrett wrestled with who was very much like Randy Savage type, or like Animal, you know what I mean? I don't know, or like Warrior. I mean, where like he's got like tassels, blonde hair. He's like pumping up the crowd, just classic face. And like, I watched him and Garrett have like probably one of the best fucking matches I'd ever seen in my life, straight up at this like nobody show. It was so funny. They were like friends before that as well, so they kind of just they communicated what they wanted to do so quickly. They only had like 45 minutes to plan out that match, and they only had like 10 minutes, and it was so sick. Like I wish I would have recorded it because it was amazing actually, and it was funny because it's just like this little nobody town with like a gym full of some just hardcore wrestling fans, and they were going off. You know what I mean? It was sick. But he did one promo in like Colorado. I don't remember what that was. Probably like one of the biggest companies he's worked for, though. He went to Denver for a few shows.
Oh, nice.
Oh shit, that's awesome.
That's
so cool to hear.
One in Canada. He wasn't Canadian in Canada, but he was Canadian he was at like a state fair on like the north side of North Dakota. And oh man, yeah, he was like a tag match where he was Canadian, and he had that crowd going insane, bro. Like a riot was happening almost. Like it was hilarious.
That front man as a wrestler too, getting the crowd involved. That's badass.
You got to get the
So
crowd
cool.
involved.
I mean,
Well-
Garrett, I don't know if he'll say that out loud, but he loves pissing off like people like that, bro. You know what I mean? That are like,
Oh, those
just
are the
about-
best people at the show.
I mean, whatever.
Anybody on
America's-
stage interacting with the crowd, that's what everybody wants.
Yo, he was getting them going.
We'll kind of start winding down, but I just wanted to ask: are there any releases from this year that you think that you like a lot this year?
Gosh, Bell Witch. Or, I'm sorry, not Bell Witch. Or Bell Witch is sick, but Atomic Witch. I don't know if you've
Atomic
ever heard
Witch.
of them.
I have not. Let me write
We
that
played
down.
with them at the Redefining Darkness Fest, and man, I feel like they didn't like steal the show, but they were just one of those bands that just were so unique, and I loved their sound. They kind of hit you with these. They have like this punk, almost like Power Trip meets Gate Creeper, but still more like this old school hardcore vibe. But then they'll
Ooh.
have these like vocals that are like, ah, you know what I mean, over like these like heavy riffs. It's so funny, dude. You got to kind of hear it. You know what I mean?
I gotta
wrote
check that
down. I'm
out.
gonna check
I love
that
those
out for
guys.
sure.
I love those guys. I think they're from New Jersey, I want to say. But yeah, that their last record, they just put out some stuff. Molder, the band, they dropped an album. Right when
Yeah.
we dropped Traffic and their albums. We got to play with them on tour as well, and they kind of hopped on the Chicago show last minute there, and that was a treat, bro. Like straight up, listening to that album so recent and then seeing it was awesome.
Yeah, it was a great album.
Yeah. Gosh, I'm trying to think of another one. That's probably most off the top of my head, though. That's what I was kind of listening to recently, I guess.
Okay, sure. Well, the way we usually end the shows is, we like to, for somebody who maybe isn't into metal and they want to get into metal, what's a song you would point them to where you're like, this, if you're interested in metal and you like this, you're in.
Man. So like the gateway. That's a hard one, man.
So many good ones.
I mean, I think about like what got me into metal. You know what I mean? I mean, I started listening to like hard rock before I listened to metal.
No, I mean that makes
But,
sense. Now everyone
We all did, right?
Yeah, now everyone starts with Cannibal Corpse
I
for the
would say,
most part.
like, honestly, after thinking about it, and I don't know, this ain't corny. I mean, I'm thinking about what got me into metal, like "Laid to Rest" by Lamb of God, or
Yeah.
Oh, not corny at all.
Not corny. Not corny.
"Ruin" by Lamb of God. So
Ruin's a
when I
great
was a
song.
kid, man, that was the first metal song what I would consider metal. First song I heard, and it was like 4 a.m. and my brother's 10 years older than I am. He had downloaded the music video for "Ruin" off of like LimeWire or Kazaa or something. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I didn't know what it was. Like it didn't have a title, so I clicked on it, and that video changed my life straight up.
It's a
"Ruin" by
trippy
Lamb
video,
of God.
man.
Song. I would love to cover that song, to be quite honest.
Oh, that's a sick song. I remember my favorite time seeing them. Lamb of God is actually the band that I would say the three of us have probably seen the most, just because like we'll go to, they have good packages, and like we went to a lot of those Slayer farewell shows, and they're all there. So, but my favorite time seeing them was a headline set at a place called the Fox Theater in Oakland, and they opened with "Ruin," and man,
It just hits.
it hit, man. And that's my favorite time I've seen them. Like whenever I think about seeing them live, I go back to that show.
And personally, I mean, I'm not religious, but I grew up in a Catholic household, so like that video in particular, what I mean? Like, that was like taboo. It was like hard. It was aggressive, and like as a kid, I was like, "This is the coolest fucking thing I've ever seen in my life." Like, but I mean, I also like listened to like a lot of like Judas Priest and AC/DC early. I mean, Metallica. You know what I mean? So I would
that's
recommend
early
any
stuff.
of that early stuff as well. Like, to be quite honest, like.
Ramon, what's your recommendation of the week?
You know what? I have a recommendation, but I got to say, we were talking earlier about you guys possibly covering a song. "Ruin" would be a great song for you guys to cover. That would be great. That would be great.
You should throw that idea out there to the
We
boys.
were talking about that recently, to be honest. Like,
yes.
we were talking about what song we actually did almost cover a Lamb of God song, but not the whole song. It was just going to be the back end of "Now You've Got Something to Die For," just as like a pick call at the end of the set. Which I'm pretty sure they did. I think they did that in Minneapolis. I don't think I was on that gig, but I kind of rewrote it. So I played the riff the way they play the riff, which for us, we're in drop B, they're in drop D. So it's like 2 frets higher or 3, or you know what I mean, from what we would play.
But do it in your own twist.
So like I played it like they play it, tonally, and then I played it like the heavier way, same riff, and that's what they ended up doing at that show. I wish I could have seen that pit. We actually did cover "Misery Loves Company" by Subscum.
Oh damn!
And we would do that as like if we ever did get like an encore, we just did that final like where he says, that pit call basically, and then there's that last like 2 riffs that are hard as shit. Like,
Oh,
so that
hell
was
yeah.
kind of like how we would end certain sets if they were like special sets. And you can like find there's like videos of us online. I'm pretty sure, like on Facebook and Twitter, doing it a couple times. Like we did it once in Burnsville, Minnesota, and that pit was insane. To be honest, it was like one of my favorite pits of all time.
Definitely checking it out.
You gotta love a
but-
good pit.
Oh,
Yeah.
100%.
People were swinging, bro. Like,
oh, nuts.
You got
was
someone
like
going the
8
opposite
watts
way,
against
just
1
destroying
point,
everyone.
Yep. If you don't
Um,
like getting hit, stay away from the pit, bro.
Yeah.
Who's that?
Bring on the pig.
My pick for the week. We've done this a few times, so I've got to think about it. But I was listening to Ginger, so I'm gonna go with Ginger.
Yo,
The song Pisces.
yes.
Great song.
Oh my god, I love
Man,
that song.
man,
I was listening
that
to
is
that
a great song.
yesterday.
I think that anybody can get into that. I was
The
watching.
bass line alone in that song, bro.
Oh,
Yes, the bass line, the clean singing, Tatiana's like just her growls. She nails every bit of it. And I watched this.
She's
vocal
powerful.
coach. Yeah, I watched this like really blonde, like really like proper blonde, smaller lady,
Yeah.
like vocal coach
Just
on YouTube. Watch it.
Demon voice,
And
man.
she started crying because of how great she was. So I got to recommend that to anybody because that's a song that I feel like anybody can get into, whichever part you like,
yeah, I like that. That's a good pick and good modern one. What's your pick for the week, Brad?
My pick is a song that a lot of people who don't like metal have definitely heard. And we work in the car business. I don't think we mentioned that earlier. And sometimes I'll play this song on the showroom, and I'm the only metalhead at work, like the only one. And my coworker's like, "I've heard this song before. I've heard this song. Who is that?" And it's Change by the Deftones. And they just have no idea that it's the Deftones. They'll be like, "Yeah, it's the Deftones, man." And that's just my song, man.
That's a
No,
great
that's a
pick
good
right
one.
there. That's,
I mean, I'm
anybody
biased
can
because
get
I
into
have
that.
a Deftones tattoo, so I'm biased on that one. My pick of the week, I'm gonna go a little random. I'm gonna go with the song that I listened to 6 times in a row the other day. That took up like 45 minutes of my time, and that is "Love You to Death" by Typo Negative.
Oh my god, I fucking love you.
Dude, that song!
I love
like,
Typo.
That
That's
came on
just
the radio like the other night on Liquid Metal.
Liquid Metal
Straight
is
up.
so great sometimes. They have some bangers.
Yeah. I was like, okay. It was like rush hour, bro. I'm like, okay.
Hey, I
Calm
want
you
to
down.
I want to see a Maul takeover on Liquid Metal. We got to get
Sean the Butcher.
Jose and Sean to.
I was just talking about that. I'm like, who do I got to hit up to make that happen?
Oh,
Shoot
dude,
me an
Butcher.
email somewhere.
our goal is to have the Butcher Sean on, and if we
Play
get
some
him on,
fucking
we're
Maul.
plugging
Yeah,
you.
dude.
We're plugging you.
Well, where could people find you? Your merch? Way people freaking hop on the bandwagon.
We do have, so we're doing a record release show actually on Sunday in Moorhead, Minnesota, which is pretty close to Fargo, at a place called Harold's. We also have like 3 shows coming up the following week. We're going to be in St. Paul. Gosh, I don't remember where we're playing the first day, to be honest. Sorry. Sometimes I just
No,
get in the
you're
van, bro,
You're
straight
good.
up.
Hey, that's your job, right? Get in and go play.
Yeah, dude. Like, I don't ask questions sometimes. And, we're playing that Midwest. There's like a Midwest Death Fest in South Dakota.
Ooh, badass.
There's a lot of bands on it. With Gorgatron here from Fargo, the Gorgatron boys. They're pretty sick. And I mean, you can find our music pretty much anywhere online nowadays. YouTube, Spotify, whatever floats your boat. It's probably on there by now.
What's your Instagram or Twitter, so they can follow you guys?
So Twitter is Maul701, I want to say. Yeah, Maul701. And then our Instagram, I believe, is Maul Band.
Okay.
It might be Maul Death, actually. It's Maul Death. They say to make all your shit the same, and we suck at that. Because,
What are
I
you
mean,
gonna
Maul
do?
is so popular. Like, Darth Maul is already, like, taken so many things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maul Death on Instagram.
Maul
Justin
Death. Cool.
Justin was walking around work with a Maul, with his name tag saying Maul. He printed out a
Yeah.
label.
And then it's
His
Maul
said
banned
Maul.
on Facebook. Maul banned on Facebook.
Heck yeah, well, freaking check out Seraphic Punishment. Go see a show, buy a freaking t-shirt. We spoke earlier, you know where we're at. Hopefully you guys come around soon, and I know it's going to be a stacked bill because
we are definitely planning a West Coast run right now. Actually, it's like in the works.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a few bands with us, probably looking like a 3 to 4 band package, and it's probably gonna be like at least 2 weeks, might be a little bit longer, but yeah, it's gonna be great. I can't wait.
I'm excited too.
I love
man.
the West Coast.
We'll be there.
The best coast.
Yeah, and we're gonna be up in the Pacific Northwest a little bit too, like up, like Seattle,
Washington.
Oregon. Yep.
Okay.
We're kind of coming through Montana and then going down and then coming back up through Texas, basically doing a big loop. So
Hell yeah.
Just make sure you stop through the Bay Area or Sacramento, one of the two.
it's gonna be some like honestly, just looking at the drive times. I mean, this last run we did, man, we put in some miles. Like we had some long drives. And that West Coast run, it's going to be pretty consistent, like 7-hour drives, it looks like.
Hell yeah.
Just get used to 6-7 hour drives right now. You know?
Yeah. Well,
Easy.
It's funny because, like, in New York, man, people had to drive 40 minutes and they were complaining. And, like, someone offered us a place to crash like an hour and a half away. And we're like, yeah, opposite direction. We don't care. Like, yeah, totally. Like, is it space? Like, we'll do it.
done.
Yeah, straight up.
No worries. Hour and a half, it's nothing, bro.
Hour and a half for us. That's where any way we go. We're gonna go for an hour and a half for a show. So
Nice. And then Brad, plug man.
Yeah, me and Al, we also do a Crooks and Books podcast for sports betting on the NFL. You'll be finding us shortly here, coming in the next couple of weeks. You know, check us out on Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast, Crooks and Books.
Nice. Well, thank you, Lamb. We really appreciate your time, and like I said, can't wait for you guys to come around and love the album, man.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
hell yeah.
Yeah, album was hard. It got me through leg day today for sure.
Pleasure.